Autodesk Screencast. My name is Dzan and I work for Repro Products in Smyrna, Georgia. I am an Autodesk certified instructor and hold many certifications in multiple Autodesk products for the AEC industry. I hope you enjoy my screencast. If you'd like to see more of my screencast, please search for VAR 2015, that's VAR 2015, or my name. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up after you watch it. In today's screencast, we'll be taking a look at the floor command in Revit. Here I am in Revit in a default architectural project. I've got some walls and doors already created. If I go to the Architecture tab of the ribbon Build panel, I can click the Floor command. I can choose to create an architectural floor, a structural floor which has structural data such as analytical information, and floor by face. This screencast will cover architectural floors. Start the command. It goes into sketch mode and it's asking us to create the magenta lines that represent the outside edges of the boundary of the floor. What kind of floor are we working with? We can go to the type selector and pick what we need. For example, lightweight concrete on metal deck. Once we have the type of floor we want selected, we can go through and we can just place these floors. Now, one of the things that you want to look at too when you're placing the floors is this a floor that is the structural slab or if this is a finished floor. This is important to understand because the top of slab may not necessarily be at the same height as the finished floor. For the sake of convenience and ease, I'm going to assume that the floor that I'm making is a finished floor on top of a top of slab. So I will adjust the height accordingly. So let's change this type of floor and let's make our own. We go to the type selector, pick something that makes sense, and we can duplicate it. We can call it whatever we want. Let's call it tile floor. We can go into the structure and we can change the structure to leave it as the default, or I'll just, for the sake of simplicity, I'll just make it tile. And we'll say 4-inch porcelain tile, that's fine. And we'll make it a thickness of 1/4 inch. Hit OK. And now we have a new floor system family called tile floor, and it's very, very thin. And again, we're drawing the magenta lines that represent the outside edges of the boundary. So if I only want the first room to be tile, I go ahead and I create those magenta lines. And again, I want to make sure that I have a clean, continuous loop, no gaps, no overlaps. And when you're all finished, you hit the green check mark, and that floor will be created. This applies, and this method applies to any type of floor that you want to put in. Now, let's take a quick section cut through this. The reason we were looking at this in section is because if I expand this and make this a fine level of detail and turn my thin lines on, if I zoom in here, you're going to see that this finished floor, the top of it, is right at the level 0. If we have to assume that there is going to be a structural slab from level 1 down a certain thickness, say 5 inches, then this floor needs to go up by the thickness of that floor. So if I select it and I put an offset of 1/4 inch high, it'll raise that, and then when I go ahead and place the structural slab underneath it, it'll be correct. One last tidbit: if you have all these walls selected, if let's say the walls are of a different construction type like this, and we'll head over to the floor plan view, we'll switch this to fine, and we will verify that the brick is on the outside. And then we'll take these two walls and we'll make it an interior wall. Say that's fine. If I go back to the section, we can see that the floor, as it stands now, as a finished floor, goes to the inside face of the edge of the metal stud. Now, the question is, from constructability, is that what we want for the tile? Does the chipboard wall go all the way down and the tile go across and butt into it? Depends on who's constructing it. Some people will have a base molding for that wall and they'll put the tile underneath it. If that's the case, having the edge of the floor at this edge of the stud is okay. If you don't have a base, and you just want that chipboard to be constructed all the way down to the floor, and have the tile go and meet up against it and basically hide that really bad edge of that cut of the chipboard, then you would want the edge of the floor to be at this line, not this line. So just little things like that to think about when you're putting in a floor. And so that is your command for architectural floor. Thank you for watching my screencast, and please don't forget to give me a thumbs up.